Alright, all you music makers, video game players, entertainers, listeners to the madness, streetlight crusaders, I guess a couple of you telemarketers, with the exception of you contestants out there, cause the Indie Radio Arcade's next week. Welcome to the first episode of the new year in a new decade edition of A Work in Progress. I am your host from the East Coast, as always, DJ Smokey, and man, oh man, Happy New Year! Oh man, the last time we did an episode, folks, was just before the year wrapped up, and we've been hitting the gas pedal to the metal ever since that day, with not only anniversary shows for Under the Radar, the Indie Radio Arcade, episodes hitting into a milestone such as Under the Radar, and even this upcoming Friday with Music Village hitting well over 6 years. And this one is special, folks, for a multitude of reasons. For those who don't know, we originally started the show on January 24th of 2014? Yeah, 2014. That was the date we started the show. This upcoming Friday, we come full circle, and the show will be on the same date as it started 6 years ago, after we took a 6-year hiatus from the microphone. So this really has a close, very close spot in my heart. And before we go any further, I would like to say to all those who made the show possible, thank you. You're going to hear it again by Friday, but I'd like to say to each and every last one of you, thank you for keeping the flagship show known as Music Village under Music Village headquarters umbrella alive for this long. So we thank you. And before we get any more emotional, folks, a couple of things we really forgot to celebrate. The fact that last year we hit well over 900 episodes combined total that we've done. And also the fact that we got 80,000 plays on SoundCloud. And the fact that, yeah, we never really celebrated. Because I think we did secretly make a New Year's resolution to ourselves saying whatever time we got, whatever spare time we got on the side, we are not going to waste a moment of it. Granted, I should have said to myself, we should actually, relax a little bit on the side and actually try to use the little bit of the spare time we have to actually celebrate ourselves. But nope, we've been constantly looking forward, constantly trying to just come up with a better episode than the one we did prior and always improve ourselves no matter what thing we decide to do. And yeah, the one time we really were going to celebrate ourselves is when we actually started streaming. Now, and I know we haven't done a real gaming stream in about 24 hours due to the fact that we caught a little bit of a cold and we decided to just rest up to gain our energy back for next week for what we were going to do, which is a lot, folks. Because not only we're doing a very special Vegas episode of the Tuesday night special, but we're also going to do, I guess another edition of the Wild World of Stunts for Under the Radar and a couple of more tracks. And oh, on a little side note for you fans out there, if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, the playlist that we got coming up for Under the Radar this upcoming week, let's just say that the money you can get now for the races are doubled. So if you regularly get $50,000 for doing about 10 or 5 races, you can get just about $100,000 now. So we're gonna pick some really cool races to try to get you guys as much money as possible. And another thing Maestro wanted me to inform you fans at home about, and it goes back to the New Game Plus Ultra Edition of the Indie Radio Arcade. Now, the original $64,000, or should I say $256,000 question was supposed to be something related to Motorhead, but we already did it. So we had to come up with something else, so we went with the Chinese Zodiac, and Maestro put it in an envelope and told me, here you go. Now, funny enough, next week is gonna be Chinese New Year. So, yeah, the fact that it's gonna be the year of the rat, there was a reason why we decided to do that. So, for the past 4 years, we've done something around this time of the year, always themed after whatever sort of year or whatever sort of Chinese New Year is themed after. But I got a feeling for the $64,000 question for Chinese New Year, it may involve Jackie Chan. So be on the lookout for that. And I think that's this weekend too. Oh, as a matter of fact, it is. So not only we're celebrating our 6-year anniversary, then we're immediately hopping on the bus heading to the Indie Radio Arcade, and then the day after that is the Royal Rumble. So you can see when I tell you guys we're really busy with everything in a roller coaster like formation, we're not lying to you fans out there. Things are happening real quick, one right after the other as the months go on. And I think the only downtime we'll really be able to have is after WrestleMania and after the 6-year anniversary of the Tuesday night special. Yeah, according to the Maestro, it's around May or early mid-June by the time we actually start to really slow down with all the stuff that we're doing. But even then, I don't notice. Which is kind of sad. Really is. And we're being informed by the Maestro that this is probably one of the latest shows we've done to date, seeing the fact that it's taking place around 3 in the morning. But I told him we had a couple of ideas to share with you fans out there, so what better time than now than at the magic hour, so to speak, to share with you fans out there. And oh, speaking of the magic hour, whatever happened to that show? I'm pretty sure it used to come on somewhere around the time of the Apollo, and it just disappeared off of TV. One thing I always remembered about that show, besides the theme song, is the fact that at the end of each episode, Magic Johnson would have people actually try to take a free throw shot? Yeah, a foul shot. And if they made it, the people in the studio audience would win some sort of prize. That's all I remembered. I don't remember anything else like guests that they had on the show, except that one mock episode of Mad TV they decided to have, and where they made fun of it with Shaquille O'Neal on the show, with him missing the half-court shot, not the half-court shot, the foul shot, and then everybody just booing, or whatever world it was. It was funny at the time, but now, I don't know. Yeah, it's still funny. And in other news, ladies and gentlemen, we might as well break into the news right now. For you fans out there of Mobius Final Fantasy, and yes, that's the RPG game spin-off that they had for tablets for you fans out there of Final Fantasy. Unfortunately for you fans out there in Japan, the game will be ending as of March 31st. And for those worldwide, the game will be ending as of June 30th. So this would be what? The third major game that I would play, whether it be on my PlayStation or on my tablet, that would close down in the past 3 years. And if you want a prime example, Tekken Revolution, then Tales of the Rays, but I think it's still up in Japan, not too entirely sure, and now Mobius. And for those out there who wants to participate in the game, you have until about June 30th to cash in on the Magic sites that they will with real cash, because the services will end as of the game's Warriors of Despair mode that will take place on June 30th. And I think my favorite character for that thus far has to be the one with the playing cards. And as a matter of fact, heading into the heading into the summer of RPG in August. In our standard tradition, we will be doing a video game story for that game, and hopefully real soon, an actual review for Mobius Final Fantasy before it gets taken down. Which is real sad to see. I had a lot of fun playing that game, but trust me, I'll try to tell a great story for the memories to live on forever. Hopefully. And in other news, and news that we completely forgot to report on for the Tuesday night special, and it's something historic, folks. For you fans out there of Impact Wrestling, with the last pay-per-view they had called Hard to Kill, Tessa Blanchard, yes, that's right, Tessa Blanchard, who went one-on-one against Sami Callihan for the past 8 months of their lives, concluded with Tessa Blanchard becoming the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. And this is historic. And this is historic for a numerous amount of reasons, folks. Not only because Tessa Blanchard would be the first woman to ever win a male's world title, but she would be the first ever woman to hold on to the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. A lot of people got real upset about this, but in my opinion, it's really historic, and at the same time, congratulations. And I don't know who in the world they're gonna get to try to take it off of her, but at the same time, the fact that she's been able to go toe-to-toe with people like Madman Fulton and the rest of OVE, I don't know how in the world it's gonna go when she fights against somebody like Brian Cage or Rob Van Dam, but I got a feeling she could put up one hell of a fight. If she can do all what she did to Sami Callihan, I got a feeling she can put up a fight against the rest of the Impact roster. Even though a lot of people are gonna be a little bit nervous when they see it, I have hope that she can put up one hell of a fight as a champion. And in other news, apparently fresh hot off the presses, somewhere around the Royal Rumble, maybe sooner, Tyler Breeze, the current Up Down Down champion, aka Prince Pretty, will have to defend his Up Down Down championship against none other than Miss Bliss herself, 5 Feet of Fury Alexa Bliss, in a Rumble match. I don't know what that entails, but either way, I got a feeling Xavier Woods is gonna stack the deck against none other than Prince Pretty, seeing the fact that he really, and I mean really, hates the fact that he's holding on to that Up Down Down championship. And if my memory serves me correct, he's held on to that title since, pretty much the end of the year. So he's been champion for just about almost 3 months. So congratulations, Prince Pretty. And to also update a couple of you fans out there, the recent episode of the Battle of the Brands, they're gonna have a wrestling match to decide who's gonna be the first one to pick the draft picks, instead of going by the game's algorithm that SmackDown, which i.e. Prince Pretty's team, would be the one to actually go first. Or was he the manager of Raw? I keep forgetting. Either way, they also explained the reason why in the world they're not going to the other games that they had back in the day, which goes along the lines of, they said they wouldn't do 2007 because it came with a story mode, so it's impossible to do that. And in 2008, I do believe they added in a third brand, which means more competition, and they would have to fight against the computer for ratings, and that could go bad too. But then again, they could bring in another person, probably a representative of left, right, to actually come in and do a triple threat and see how that goes. But then again, they would have to work around their schedules too. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be real bad. Or at least have a special guest come in once in a while to run ECW and see how that would go. I would have loved to see that. But for those who want to see how this year's Season 2 production of, I guess, Battle of the Brands is going to go down, you can go ahead and check it out on the YouTube page of one man only known as Up, Up, Down, Down. Check it out for yourselves. And according to the maestro, we got the name of Austin Creed wrong and called him by his real name of Xavier Woods. Right. Yeah, that lets you know, folks, way too early in the morning to do a show, but here we are. But then again, we don't really sleep at night, so this is normal speed for us. And we would have done this earlier also, folks, but we recently have encountered a snowstorm. Not a big one, mind you, but enough for the roads to be congested and plow trucks to run down the road at full speed with the truck shovel actually grinding against the ground, which actually almost prevented us from doing it. The show, that is. And in Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst news, the Christmas event is still going on strong. And the next event that will take place with an unknown start date will be the Valentine's Day event. And I got a feeling that has to be one of my least favorite events for Phantasy Star Online, and I'll tell you why. First off, the fact that every single one of the weapons they have for the Valentine's Day event is all, charged weapons. And charged weapons meaning the fact that they charge you your actual meseta to use those weapons. Which I still don't get why in the world they go with those, but then again, I think it goes with real life Valentine's Day rules where you're spending oodles and oodles of money on things you really don't need to show your affection to others. And I think I already did a rant on this, but at the same time, seriously, not a fan of Valentine's Day. And if you thought my opinion changed since that rant we did those many moons ago, nope. No, it hasn't. As a matter of fact, I may do an updated version of that rant, but nah. I got a feeling I would go way overboard and it would be for like about 7, 8, 9, 12 minutes of me just rambling on until the maestro gets one of those giant oversized hooks to stop us from ranting about what's going on with Valentine's Day. And it would be real bad. It would be real bad. And besides all of that, folks, one thing we also really wanted to do, and this is a little bit of an update for the Indie Awards, we were supposed to mention to you fans out there another award we had down the list for the Indie Awards, but our notes is so discombobulated, we have to wait until the first week of February to start mentioning more awards. And in annual tradition, we will start with the track of the year and as well as the Golden Cast along with the GTA Online track of the year, I think. Track of the year, Golden Cast, Creator of the Year, and Deathmatch of the Year that will all take place starting February, or at least the last show of the month for Under the Radar. Because we have to actually search our computer for all of the nominees, even though we labeled them, especially the ones with the Golden Cast, but Rockstar took down a couple of the nominees, so we have to scramble around to find the runner-up nominees for those said Stun of the Year and Golden Cast Award winners. And also, as tradition, we're waiting until after the Royal Rumble before we name the WWE Match of the Year, or strike that, Match of the Year in general, because one of the matches of the year comes from AEW. Now, we didn't watch New Japan, we didn't watch Ring of Honor, we didn't watch NWA or any of those other wrestling companies, but if you guys send us tapes out there of what matches they had for the year, we will include them in the category. But we can only watch what we can within reach on television, so yeah, it's a thing. And besides all of that, folks, I think it's just about that time for us to check a couple of those high scores that we have for you fans out there for this week from the Twitter page of @HighScore. And the first high score that we have up comes from none other than Manika Gaming with their high score of 531,054 during the SNES game of Contra 3, The Alien Wars, under easy difficulty with no farming. Next high score we have up comes from Darren9999 with his high score of 238,680 for the video game known as Candy Crush Saga under level 205. Not that bad. Then you have Jess with his high score of 191,900 for the arcade game of Marvel Superheroes. And if I remember correctly, one of my dad's friends, I think his name was Wayne, actually had this game at his house for the SNES, if I last remembered. And I think the one boss they always used to get stuck on, and I wish I could mention this as a video game story, but it's a little hazy for us, but he would always get stuck on Galactus, and he would always use Juggernaut and use that earthquake attack to try to take him out. Yeah, pretty fun though. Then the next high score that we have up, which comes from Jess, with his high score of 80,500, a part of the classic arcade game of Saturday Night Slam Masters. And this is something I saw on Up Up Down Down and been meaning to play for the longest amount of time, but don't know where to begin to try to find it on an arcade, or if the arcade that we have in town has it. I may have to ask him one day. And besides that question, I'm going to most likely ask a guy in an arcade in the near future, folks. The next high score that we have up, once again, comes from Jess with his high score of 146,650, a part of the arcade game of Tough Turf? No, it took me a minute to think. I was like, wait a minute. Tough Turf. I thought that said tough enough, but no. Tough Turf. It'd be funny if they did play that song by the Fabulous Thunderbirds of Tough Enough while you're playing this game. I wish. I really do. Anyway, next high score that we have up, folks, comes from none other than Galaxian77 with his high score of 163,210, a part of the arcade game of Tournament Acnoroid Akator? I never heard of the game, but congratulations on the high score. And if it looked like I sounded confused while saying it, yeah, it's because the name sounds a little bit off to us. And the last but not least high score that we have up for this week comes from none other than Arcade Player ABC with his high score of 5,499,930, a part of the arcade game of Flicky. You know, I was gonna start singing that Run DMC song, but no, we're gonna contain ourselves for this week to doing things that are a little bit too silly. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out any other cool high scores of people on the Twitterverse trying to get their names put up on the high-ranking boards, you can go ahead and check it out on the Twitter page of one man only known as @HighScore, or head on over to their website known as highscore.com to win cool prizes for your high scores. And the high score that still stands on the top of the mountain, folks, comes from none other than JML 101,582 with his high score of 11,553,160 from the pinball game of Dale Jr. Nice! But you gotta wonder how long is JML gonna stay on the top of the mountain? And according to the maestro, by this upcoming weekend, he has a feeling that JML is gonna get knocked off that podium because he's pretty sure that Omar Gettin may get a new high score for that. Huh. You know, I would hold you up on that bet, but no, I don't do that. Last time I said, oh yeah, well, I think that $100 million high score was gonna stay. Somebody last year came up with a 1 billion high score in pinball that made me almost drop out of my chair. So, no betting with you. I know how you work. And besides the whole bet between me and the maestro, folks, one thing we almost forgot to mention is something of great importance for those out there who watches our streams on the Instant Hero on our Twitch page. We almost forgot to mention that our streaming is going to be a little less often than usual due to the fact of us planning for not only the Indie Awards, but also for the 6th-year anniversary of Music Village. So the days you will see us streaming this upcoming week will most likely be this upcoming Sunday to make up for Saturday, since we're still a little bit under the weather and trying to recover, but also on, I do believe, Wednesday afternoon until Wednesday night, and most likely after that, we'll try for Thursday, is the only thing we'll say. We'll try for Thursday because Friday after Music Village, we're working on the Indie Radio Arcade. Saturday, of course, the show will be released, and then, of course, on Sunday, we will be watching the Royal Rumble. And we will be reporting on the Royal Rumble during the 6-year anniversary of Music Village, predicting who we think is going to win the big event and see who's going to punch their ticket to hopefully main event WrestleMania. Now, I said hopefully because the last person who won Royal Rumble was Seth Metal Rollins, who unfortunately didn't even main event WrestleMania. Instead, he curtain jerked the show. But either way, he was still able to win the Universal Studios of Orlando, Florida's championship from Brock Lesnar. And I find it ironic now that he's on this whole Monday Night Messiah deal that Brock Lesnar's entering in the Royal Rumble first. Is Seth Rollins going to enter in the Royal Rumble and with his straight edge society of Buddy Murphy and the AOP going to do the same thing that CM Punk did when he was in the Rumble? You know, the 1 year when he was a part of the Straight Edge Society, not when the 1 year before he left the company where he was dragged out of the ring by Kane under the bottom rope and then chokeslammed through a table but never truly was eliminated. Yeah, that happened. I still remember that. So, I don't know. No clue. And we also have another news to report from WWE, the fact that John Morrison, for the first time in years, finally stepped back into the ring and we were able to watch it. Still a little upset that they didn't have the slow motion pyrotechnics that John Morrison usually has, but at the same time, he still does all the moves that he does in WWE, plus another couple of cool tricks here and there that he's been doing all around the world, including the countdown to impact, like tiger knee or elbow that he does from the top rope where he corkscrews, or I guess sundial spins his way off the top rope to hit Kofi. Which, by the way, when did Kofi change his hair? It's been a while since I've seen SmackDown, so all the things I see here and there sprinkled around, kind of cool, but at the same time, kind of confusing. That's change for you, folks. That's change. And now it's time for us to go into another lavish home edition of the lifestyles of the digitally rich and famous. And the first house that we have up, while I'm shuffling around the notes over here, let me put this over here. The first house that we have up, folks, comes from none other than Cameron22 with their house, Pagoda on the Hill? Pagoda on the Hill. Thank you for the correction, Maestro. And this house, besides having 6 stages, 3 bedrooms, and 2 baths, and as well as other rooms that you can do karate and practice in, it's a pretty cool house. And not to mention, reminds me of the tower that was featured in the classic Bruce Lee movie of Game of Death. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this looks like the tower from the Game of Death. Or one of those towers that you would see during, I guess, Mortal Kombat. Still pretty cool though, but for those out there looking for room for a driveway or something, unfortunately you're gonna have to build it on a bigger lot because the lot size for this house is 12 by 12. So if you want to get a garage or expand on building other than upwards into the sky, make sure you build it on a bigger property and you should be fine. Also, make sure you have the adventure pack before you download the said, house or tower of sorts. And the next house that we have up comes from none other than Casio's 5444 with their said house, Billionaire Mansion. And this beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, house of 6-figure payments actually features you in a house with 3 bedrooms and as well as a mother-in-law suite. I got a feeling the person who created this house made it in spite of Tex Avery with all their mother-in-law sketches, and even includes an indoor pool with bar, 2 full bathrooms, cars, and a boat and a jet ski, full kitchen equipped with the bar. So, for those who are looking for a house that has everything to prove that you made it, this is the house for you. And to make things even better, folks, it comes with a full around the property fence to prevent zombie attacks from attacking you while you're in this said home. So yeah, definitely always room for improvement for this house, and even a chance to have all the stuff we just listed. Yeah, definitely the house for you if you want to be a part of that billionaire club. And according to what the maestro said, $1 billion is more than 6 figures. What, 9? 10? 10 figures? We'll go with 10 figures. I'm probably wrong, and I'll probably get corrected in the comments, but yeah, 10 figures. And the next house that we have up comes from the creator IMP's 23, and hopefully we said that name right, with their house, Beach Retreat, IMP's 23. And this wonderful, and I do mean wonderful, 1.5 bath, 1 bedroom, and 1 workroom home that is wonderfully placed by the beach, that has its own outdoor workout equipment, and even its own love furniture on the outside, is the perfect place for you to go if you're looking to get away from it all. And the fact that it's elevated while it's by the beach, nice touch. And oh, it also comes with its own driveway and palm trees for those who really are looking for that vacation feel. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there, and the packs that I have a feeling you are going to have to get for this said house, is not only the Master Suite, the Fast Lane, Town Life, Outdoor Living, High-End Loft, Ambitions, Island Paradise, Generations, Showtime, World Adventures, and other packs that you will have to get, including Into the Future. Yeah, make sure you have all those packs installed if you want to live in this said house. Especially the Island Adventure Pack, because you're definitely going to need it if you want to live in a beach house. And the next house that we have up, folks, comes from none other than Imagine 11687 with their house, Scotch Hollow Castle. And this house, besides it being a 2-bedroom, 1.5-bathroom house with a windmill behind the house, or is it a water wheel? Well, according to the maestro, it is a water wheel. Nice. And hopefully it's for more than decoration. It can help you with electricity bills in this said house, even though it has its own little outside walkout. And I do believe, I want to say a banister, but its own little, I keep on forgetting what it's called. I guess elevated porch of sorts? Once again, my real estate knowledge of houses is a little bit off, but let's just say it has its own little porch that's elevated where you can actually have campfires outside with your friends, which is always a nice thing. And not to mention, lurking underneath that is also a garage for your cars. Another plus for me in my book. And I think the only thing I would say for you fans who have the supernatural pack for this house is to make sure you keep the doors locked at night to prevent zombies from coming in. Because trust and believe me, folks, that's how they get inside the house. They ring the doorbell, one of your neighbors answers, and boom, next thing you know, they're a zombie. So yeah, lock the doors at night if you can't put a fence around it. And the last but not least house for this week, folks, comes from none other than Viviana Gray, nice name by the way, 24, with her said house, Mini Manor, 1-bedroom and 1.5 bath. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a compact mansion that overlooks a whole bunch of beautiful pink trees and even comes with its own garden and driveway included for this said house. And to make things even better, folks, this property is built on a 30 by 30 lot, which gives you plenty of room to add things onto this said house. And if you even want to add on a basement, you can. And if you're like me who lived in this said house and likes to build crazy things in basements, there is enough room underground for you to build a skating rink. Yes, Maestro, I am that nuts. I built a skating rink underneath my own home for people to use for everyday use. I think I also built an ice rink too in my spare time while I was thinking of new ideas for shows. Might have to go back and finish that. That and continue to dig up the yard for more gold ingots that I could use to put in the house for decoration. And to tempt thieves who try to go in the house for them to get roasted alive. Almost the same way as my sister's boss in The Sims 3. I think we told a video game story about that and I'm still laughing about it every time I mention it to my sister. You know, casual conversation we have over the phone. Hey sis, remember that time when your boss tried to steal from my house and he got lit up like litmus paper? I do. And a little side note, folks, before we go any further, we almost forgot to mention, and Maestro said, wrap up the lifestyles of the digitally rich and famous first. And yes, for those out there who wants to check out all of these beautiful homes that are lavish and waiting for you to live in, then I recommend you head on over to thesims3.com and head on over to the exchange page to check out these beautiful houses that'll make you have 8-bit caviar wishes and digital champagne dreams. And with that wrapped up, folks, Maestro said, now we can tell you fans at home, and we realized something after Music Village. Since we were a little bit under the weather, we completely forgot to upload episode 296 of Music Village to YouTube. Now, currently, as we speak, while we're doing this show with the help of the Maestro, we are now uploading episode 296 to YouTube. And it still requires a lot of processing, so I got a feeling it will be available as of Sunday afternoon. And at the same time, we're a little bit worried with the fact that the intro song for Music Village still sounds almost like another song that YouTube said we copied, but at the same time, we've been using that song for several months and they didn't give us a copyright strike for it before, so we'll have to talk back and forth with YouTube about it, but it still will be available, hopefully, by this afternoon. As well as this past episode of Work in Progress, which will also be up by the afternoon as well. And while we're still on the subject of uploading, folks, our uploading schedule for all the shows will soon change in the near future too. Cause I got a feeling with the Indie Awards approaching and how big and massive that it is, we may have to start uploading things during Wednesday and Thursday for all shows. Or for as many shows as we can do without overflooding your email boxes with all the uploads that we do on a regular basis. Which we're trying not to do, mind you. But at the same time, seeing the fact that we can't upload a whole 54-minute show in one giant oversized piece, we have to upload it piece by piece because, let's just say, with the computer actually wincing right now and I can hear it sounding like a 747 jet behind me, it can only take so much for uploads. But I got a feeling in the near future, we're gonna get a better computer to try to combat that. Yeah, so we can upload stuff in its entirety and hopefully one day with musical interludes. And that's another dream of mine, folks, that we can feature your independent music a part of the show with the show in its entirety. But we're going to have to find a workaround for it, and hopefully before the end of this year, we can. And before we forget, folks, and thank you for reminding me once again, since we're completely discombobulated in these late hours, the house of the week that we have up for this week goes to none other than the Billionaire Mansion by Casio's 5444. And the reason why we decided to pick this house? Well, because most of the people we have are millionaires in our family, and the fact that they have a house like this that comes with not only jet skis, full bars, and a partridge in a pear tree definitely says that this is the mansion for me. And it even says it in the description for the said house. This is the mansion for you. Absolutely it is. And well, folks, that's the bell, which means it's just about that time for us to vamoose for this week and bring a work in progress to an emphatic close. Now, before we do, and before Maestro picks back up that bell, we would like to announce to you fans out there, we will be posting on our Twitter page in the near future, not only stream times, but also the award nominees for the Indie Awards in the near future. And if you guys who didn't get a chance to catch this show live, and I got a feeling it's a lot of you unless you're a couple of streetlight crusaders out there like me, you can go ahead and check it out on our SoundCloud, Facebook, or even Tumblr pages, all named the same, only known as Music Village Radio under the hashtag A Work in Progress 25. Oh, nice. 25 episodes thus far. So we're just about, 5 episodes from 30? Which I got a feeling will be 5 weeks or 5 months, seeing the fact of how sporadic this show is. And if you guys want to figure out what other crazy and zany things that we still got prepared for this month, or should I say, Year of the Fist, that may take us a month or two to actually get to you, you could go ahead and check it out on our Twitter/YouTube pages, still named the same, only known as the Double O Agent 0012. And also, if you fans out there want to check out any other cool games that we are currently playing as we speak, you can head on over to our Twitch page, only known as The Instant Hero, all one word, that may be changed to The Double Agent 0012 in the near future, to check out a couple of cool games and highlights on demand that we were able to take during our gameplays. And I think what we're going to most likely be playing as of this Sunday is either going to be Final Fantasy NT, or the possibility of finally starting the second time around gameplay for Final Fantasy 15 to get my revenge on all of the creatures, and hopefully for them to get a harder difficulty for the New Game Plus mode. Haven't checked it out yet, but I will soon. And before we head out for the night, we would like to thank, as always, you the fans out there, for listening in to another late night insomniatic edition of A Work in Progress. And I seriously think this show came out later than the Tuesday night special did for this entire year. Hold on, let me check the clock, folks. Yep, by the time this gets uploaded to YouTube, it's gonna be around 6 in the morning or 7. So yeah, definitely the latest show we've done. And wouldn't it technically count as a morning fog too, Maestro? Apparently it does. Alright, so for those who always wanted the morning fog, this is technically it. And I'm pretty sure as of this past week, we would be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of that show too. Nice. Because it did come out somewhere around the same time as the, as Ed, Edd n Eddy? Yeah, when that show debuted on Cartoon Network. As a matter of fact, Maestro's holding up a calendar right now and telling me yes. So, happy birthday, Morning Fog. We wish we could do you more often, but unfortunately, we're not morning people. And we would also like to thank you, the independent artists out there, for delivering that musical goodness like you always do. And keep up the great work, guys and gals out there, because your music is a constant inspiration for all of the crazy ideas we come up with on a daily and nightly and sometimes morning-like basis. So keep that music coming, guys and gals. And speaking of people who constantly keeps the music coming, no matter what time of the day or night it is, we would like to thank our musical guest for this week, none other than Tekno AXE, with his song, Street Walk Manifesto, that was used for the intro and for the outro for this week's edition of A Work in Progress. And as always, Tekno AXE, keep up the great work, and we can't wait to see what sort of musical goodness you have coming down the tubes next. Wouldn't some people consider it as a sleeve? Well, according to the PR department and the Maestro, no. Nobody ever called a tube a sleeve. I'm gonna start using it as a term, though, just because of this, to try to save myself from that ballpark error. But anyway, folks, last but not least, we would like to thank you, the independent gamers out there, for coming out with all those sweet, sweet games and houses and high scores that we had a chance to talk about during this week's show. And for you independent gamers out there, the reason why we didn't mention any of your games for this week, we're saving them for the 6-year anniversary of Music Village, because trust me, we are going to mention a lot. And according to the Maestro, with a worried look in his eyes, he actually held up a number saying 30, and probably we'll try to mention 30 for Music Village this upcoming week. Notice how I said try. If we can't do 30, we'll have to settle for 15 or 10. But either way, we're going to try to mention as many games as we can for that said show, because you guys earned it. And I guess with everybody thanked, you guys out there, now we go out. I'm DJ Smokey on behalf of the Maestro, ready to put on his nightcap to get ready to go to sleep for this morning, saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. And we'll see you guys hopefully before the end of this Year of the Fist for this month for another edition of A Work in Progress. But until then, folks, good night to some and good morning to everybody on the East Coast, I guess. You know what? We'll just end with the classic and just say good night, everybody.
Walk down the street, saying hello to the people I meet, and I'm killing my love underneath the sun, triggering down like the smoking gun. Yeah, I ain't got no plans, just a rusty voice and an empty gas can. My car's broken down a mile behind, and I've got my life set on rewind, baby. I ain't got no plans, just a rusty voice and an empty gas can. My car's broken down a mile behind, and I've got my life set on rewind, baby. Walk down the street, saying hello to the people I meet, and I'm killing my love underneath the sun, triggering down like the smoking gun. Yeah, I ain't got no plans, just a